My alien stepsister's mating season started, and we're stuck together. Alex had never thought life could change so fast. One morning, they woke up to the smell of burnt toast and the strange humming of some machine in the living room. That was not unusual, except for the fact that their mom was acting more excited than nervous, which was unusual. "Alex, come downstairs," Mom called. "Today is a very special day." Alex rubbed their eyes and shuffled down the stairs. On the couch sat the strangest girl Alex had ever seen. She had long, shimmering silver hair that seemed to float even though there was no wind. Her eyes were huge, glowing faintly violet, and her skin had a slight iridescent shimmer that changed color when she moved. "Hi," Alex said cautiously, blinking. "Who are you?" "I am Lyra," the girl said, her voice musical like wind chimes. "I am your stepsister." Alex nearly dropped their backpack. "Stepsister, wait, what?" Mom smiled. "I didn't tell you because I wanted it to be a surprise. Lyra is from Xarian. Your father, well, my husband, married her mother last month." Alex froze. "Xarian, like outer space Xarian?" Lyra nodded, tilting her head in a curious way. "Yes, I came to live with you on Earth. It is temporary. My parents are very busy." Alex's mind was spinning. "Temporary? How long is temporary?" Lyra smiled. "Until the season passes." "The season?" Alex asked, a little wary. Lyra looked at them, tilting her head even further as if she were examining a strange creature. "The mating season, it has begun. I'm required to stay near my family during this time. It is complicated." Alex blinked. "Complicated? Wait, mating season on Earth." Lyra's eyes twinkled, and she made a small laugh that sounded like wind through glass. "Do not worry, it is not dangerous to humans. Only unpredictable." Alex was already worried. "Unpredictable?" That was putting it mildly. Mom, sensing Alex's panic, stepped forward. "Alex, it's going to be okay. Lyra is just very energetic during this season. You might find her unusual. But you're going to have to help her adjust to Earth life." Alex groaned. "Help her adjust? Why me?" Lyra smiled again. "Because we are now family. You will learn to help me survive, and maybe I can help you too." Alex felt a mix of fear and curiosity. This was already the strangest day of their life, and it was only getting stranger. The first challenge came almost immediately. Lyra got up from the couch and stretched her long, slender arms. A faint shimmer ran along her body, and suddenly every small object in the living room began to hover slightly. The toaster floated up, a mug spun in midair, and even the family cat jumped sideways, startled by the sudden anti-gravity. Alex's eyes widened. What are you doing?" Lyra looked at them apologetically. "I am adjusting. The season makes me restless. Small objects respond to my energy. It is normal." Alex scrambled to grab the mug before it crashed to the floor. "Normal? That's not normal." "That's floating stuff everywhere." Lyra giggled, making a sound like a bell. "It is fun." "Fun for you, maybe," Alex yelled, ducking as the toaster spun in the air. "For me, it's chaos." Mom tried to intervene, but Lyra's energy was too strong. She floated a small pile of magazines and arranged them in neat little stacks midair, as if the floating chaos was some kind of magical game. Alex blinked. "Okay, this is officially insane." School was next. Alex had thought a normal Monday at Oak Ridge High would be normal. But Lyra was not normal. She insisted on coming along, insisting it was necessary to learn human social customs during the season. Alex tried to protest. "Lyra, you can't just walk into school. You'll attract attention." Lyra tilted her head. "I will learn more if I observe humans directly. You will guide me. That is your responsibility." Responsibility. Alex groaned. They were 15. And now they had a stepsister from another planet whose body could make things float and who insisted on coming to school. At school, things got interesting. Lyra's first attempt at human conversation caused a small stir. In the cafeteria, she tried to sit at a table with humans eating lunch. As soon as she arrived, the floating energy made a tray of drinks hover and spin slowly above the table. Students screamed and a couple of teachers rushed over. Alex sighed and ran over. "Lyra, sit down, just sit." Lyra obediently sat, but she looked at Alex with curiosity. "Why do humans scream? It is harmless." Alex muttered, "Because humans aren't aliens." By lunch, Lyra had already caused several incidents. A soda can floated into the principal's face, a sandwich flew over a table, and Alex had to dodge a floating carrot. Students whispered, laughed, and some even took videos. Alex leaned close to Lyra and whispered, "Okay, you need to calm down. This is not a Xarian festival. This is Earth School." Lyra tilted her head. Earth school is interesting. Your species is unique. Emotional reactions are very strong. I observe fear, excitement, curiosity. It is fascinating. Alex muttered under their breath. Yeah, well, try not to make it a disaster. After school, Alex and Lyra walked home. Lyra's energy was beginning to settle, but not completely. Small objects continued to hover or spin when she walked near them. Alex was exhausted. You know, Alex said, I didn't sign up for an alien roommate, stepsister, or whatever you are. I just wanted a normal life. Lyra looked at them with her glowing violet eyes. Normal is subjective, but you will see, Alex, humans have strengths. You may be small, weak in comparison, but your species is clever, you adapt, you survive. That is admirable. Alex blinked. Thanks, I guess. Lyra tilted her head. You will need those traits. The season will make me unpredictable. We must stay together. You will help me control my energy, and I will help you in return. Alex groaned. I don't even know what that means. Lyra smiled. You will learn soon. The season is only beginning. That evening, things escalated further. Mom went out to buy groceries, leaving Alex in charge of keeping Lyra calm. Almost immediately, Lyra's energy surged again. She touched the family lamp, and it hovered above her head, spinning slowly. The cat floated beside it, looking utterly confused. Alex's head spun. Okay, stay still, just stop moving. Lyra tilted her head. I cannot, the season compels me. It is in my nature, but I will try. Try, Alex shouted. Try isn't enough. This is our living room. Our reality, Lyra studied Alex carefully. Your species is brave. You confront me directly, even when I cause chaos. That is useful. We may survive this together. Alex groaned, flopping onto the couch. Survive, survive. This is just Monday. Lyra laughed softly. For Zarian, this is a normal day, but for you, it is challenging. You are learning quickly. That is good. By the end of the night, Alex was exhausted, covered in floating furniture dust, and unsure if their brain could handle any more surprises. Lyra, however, was calm now, resting on the couch like a cat, her silver hair glowing softly. Alex looked at her and muttered, I have no idea what I got myself into. Lyra opened one glowing violet eye. Neither do I, but we will navigate this season together. You are my anchor, and perhaps I can be yours. Alex stared at her, unsure whether to laugh or cry. This was going to be a very, very strange few weeks. Outside, the stars twinkled like little hints of the vast universe Alex had never thought much about. And now the universe had come inside their living room, and it had a name. Lyra. The first day of the alien mating season, and their new life together, had begun. The morning sun peeked through Alex's bedroom window, casting a soft, golden light across the messy room. For Alex, it was hard to feel bright and cheerful. Their life had already turned upside down in less than 24 hours. Furniture floating in the living room, a glowing cat hovering beside a spinning lamp, and a stepsister who glowed like a living disco ball. And now it was only Monday. Alex rubbed their eyes and groaned. How do humans survive mornings? Lyra was already awake. She sat on the edge of her bed, a normal Earth bed which she had insisted on testing first, and her silver hair shimmered softly. She looked at Alex curiously, her glowing violet eyes wide. Good morning, Alex, she said, stretching. Small objects around her, including a pencil and an empty water bottle, floated in little circles. Are you ready to face another day? Alex groaned again. I don't think my brain is ready, or my body, or anything. Lyra tilted her head. You will adapt. Humans always do. That is remarkable. Alex muttered under their breath. Remarkable or insane, I'm not sure. Breakfast was another adventure. Mom had gone to work early, leaving Alex to manage both themselves and Lyra. Alex tried to make toast without the hovering chaos, but the moment Lyra reached for a slice, it floated up and began spinning midair. Lyra, Alex shouted. Stop, Lyra frowned. I am not stopping. I cannot, the season compels me, but I can try to guide it, Alex groaned. Guide it? You're supposed to help me not turn the kitchen into a space lab. Lyra reached out her hand, and the toast spun into a neat, hovering circle above the table. The butter knife floated up too, and Alex had to jump to avoid a sticky splatter on their face. Earth food is fragile, Lyra said thoughtfully, staring at the spinning breakfast. Your species is interesting. You use energy to cook, but I can float it. Alex collapsed onto a chair. I'm officially never going to eat breakfast again. After managing a chaotic meal, Alex and Lyra headed to school. Alex tried to prepare for the day, but Lyra's curiosity was unstoppable. Every person they passed on the sidewalk fascinated her. She poked the air near a pigeon, causing it to hover slightly, which made the bird squawk and flap its wings furiously. "Lyra, stop! People are looking!" Alex hissed. Lyra tilted her head. "Your species has limited awareness of the extraordinary." "You do not appreciate floating pigeons," Alex sighed. "I do appreciate them. I appreciate them on the ground, not in the air like some feathery helicopter." By the time they arrived at school, Lyra's energy had made a few more small objects float around her. Students whispered, pointing. Some laughed, some took out phones, and some simply stared in awe. "Alex," Lyra whispered, "they observe me. Are they afraid?" Alex pinched the bridge of their nose. "No, they're fascinated, scared, and confused, but mostly confused." Lyra smiled. "That is delightful." In class, things got more interesting. Lyra had decided that human knowledge was fascinating and insisted on attending every lesson. During math class, she lifted the teacher's chalk slightly off the board with her energy. The chalk hovered and drew lines in midair, forming perfect geometric shapes that no student could explain. The teacher, Mr. Daniels, blinked. Lyra, could you put the chalk down, please?" Lyra tilted her head. "Why, it is more precise this way," Alex groaned. "Because Earth rules say don't float objects during lessons." The floating chalk drew a perfect cube in the air. Students whispered excitedly. Alex sank lower in their seat. "I don't need a floating chalk cube, I need a normal class." By lunch, Lyra had drawn a perfect floating replica of the solar system above their table. Sandwiches and drinks hovered in orbit around it, much to the amazement and mild horror of other students. Alex whispered, "Lyra, you're going to get us in trouble." Lyra looked at them thoughtfully. "Humans are adaptive. You always survive difficult situations. I think you can survive this too." Alex muttered, "I just want a normal life. Is that too much to ask?" After school, Alex and Lyra had to walk home again. Lyra's energy had calmed a little, but not entirely. Small objects around her hummed and floated lightly in her presence. Alex was starting to realize that keeping Lyra calm was going to be a full-time job. "You know," Alex said, "I think this season is going to last longer than a few days." Lyra smiled faintly. "It is temporary, but it may feel long for humans," Alex groaned. "Long is an understatement. Do you even know what long feels like?" Lyra tilted her head, thinking. "Time is relative, but I sense your exhaustion. You are strong to endure this." Alex flopped onto a nearby bench, their backpack falling to the ground. "Strong? I feel like a pancake, flat and tired. Strong is not me right now." Lyra laughed softly, the sound like a bell. "Humans are resilient. You will adapt. I can sense your potential," Alex groaned. "Potential doesn't pay for school lunch or clean up floating furniture, Lyra." That evening, the chaos escalated. Mom returned home with groceries, only to find the living room filled with hovering plates, a floating cat, and Lyra giggling softly as she levitated a small lamp. "Lyra, stop!" Alex shouted, trying to grab a floating loaf of bread before it smashed against the wall. Mom blinked, then laughed. "Alex, I think we need to accept that she's different. Just help her calm down." Lyra tilted her head. "Calm is subjective, but I will try. You assist me, yes?" Alex groaned. "Assist you? You mean survive you?" Lyra nodded, glowing faintly. "Yes. Together we survive." By the end of the night, Alex was exhausted. They had tripped over floating objects, chased the cat twice, and narrowly avoided a spinning lamp smashing into the wall. Lyra, however, seemed calm and satisfied. Alex muttered, "How can someone be calm when they're the reason the room looks like a tornado hit it?" Lyra tilted her head. "Humans are amusing. You react strongly, but you endure. That is admirable. You are my anchor." Alex stared at her. "Anchor." "I feel more like a trampoline for your energy." Lyra laughed softly. "Perhaps, but you support me. That is enough for now." The next morning brought even more chaos. Lyra had decided that Earth needed to learn more about Zarian customs. She floated small objects around the yard in patterns, creating strange, glowing symbols. Alex groaned as they tried to explain to neighbors that it wasn't some dangerous phenomenon, but just Lyra practicing alien traditions. "Why can't she just do normal human stuff?" Alex asked the cat, who gave a disdainful meow in response. Lyra tilted her head. "Normal is limited. Humans are interesting because you are adaptive. You can survive unusual conditions. That is why I am here." Alex sighed. "I think I'm going to need more than adaptation. I need a miracle." Lyra smiled softly. "Perhaps together we will create that miracle, but it will require patience and courage and cleverness." Alex groaned again. "Cleverness." That's one thing I don't have enough of to handle, floating sandwiches. Lyra laughed, and the sound echoed like a tiny bell through the yard. You have more cleverness than you think. Humans always do. Alex looked at her and realized something important. Surviving this season wasn't just about keeping Lyra under control. It was about learning how to work together, human and alien, side by side. And if they could survive this, maybe, just maybe, they could survive anything. It had been 3 days since the start of Lyra's mating season, and Alex felt like they had aged 10 years in just 72 hours. Every morning brought new chaos, floating school supplies, hovering food, and sometimes random bursts of energy that caused small electrical appliances to spark or dance in midair. But Alex had thought they understood the limits of the situation. They were wrong. It all started when they were walking home from school one afternoon. The sun was beginning to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, but Alex barely noticed. They were too busy holding a small floating notebook that Lyra had accidentally lifted in a moment of excitement. Alex, look, Lyra said, waving her hand and sending the notebook spinning in perfect circles. Is this not fascinating? Alex groaned. Yes, fascinating. But also illegal. Someone is going to notice us. Lyra tilted her head. Earth authorities do not understand Xarian energy. That is unfortunate, but I find your species' caution amusing. Before Alex could reply, a strange sound echoed through the quiet street, a low hum almost mechanical. They both froze. What was that? Alex whispered. Lyra's violet eyes narrowed. Warning signal, something is coming. Alex's stomach dropped. Coming. Like someone is chasing us, Lyra nodded. Yes, they are alien. They detect my energy from space. They are hunters. Alex's eyes widened. Hunters, you mean like scary capture for experiment hunters? Lyra frowned. Precisely, they will try to take me away. We must run. Before Alex could react, a strange hovercraft appeared at the end of the street. Its dark metal surface shimmered with alien symbols, and 3 figures emerged. They moved with a precision that seemed almost unnatural. Alex recognized immediately that these were not humans. Run, Lyra shouted, grabbing Alex's hand. Her energy surged, and the floating notebook, pens, and even a trash can spun behind them like a protective shield. Alex stumbled but held onto Lyra. They sprinted down the street, dodging startled pedestrians who barely had time to react. The hunters were fast. They moved like shadows, floating slightly above the ground, and their weapons hummed with strange energy. Alex had no idea what the weapons did, but from the glowing sparks in the air, they guessed it was dangerous. Alex, Lyra said urgently, we must reach the park. There is cover there, and objects I can manipulate to slow them. Alex nodded, trying to ignore the pounding of their heart. Okay, park it is, but how do we stop them? Lyra smiled faintly. Humans are clever. I think you will find a way. You always do. As they reached the park, Lyra raised her hands. Small rocks, branches, and even benches lifted into the air, forming a moving barrier between them and the hunters. Alex's jaw dropped. You're like a one-girl army, Lyra laughed softly. The season gives me power, but we need strategy. Alex looked around. They noticed a small playground with a series of slides and tunnels. We can use the tunnels, they'll slow them down. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter. Yes, clever, humans are adaptable. They darted into the playground tunnels. Lyra's energy caused some of the sand and gravel to float ahead of them, forming small barriers that confused the hunters. Alex was amazed at how quickly they had learned to work together, Lyra using her alien powers, and Alex using human cleverness. But the hunters were relentless. One of them activated a hovering net which swooped through the tunnels. Alex grabbed a small stick and jammed it into the net's mechanism. Sparks flew, and the net froze in midair. Lyra quickly lifted it higher, dropping it onto the ground in a tangle. Alex panted. I can't believe that worked. Lyra smiled faintly. It worked because you thought creatively. That is uniquely human. Alex flushed. Thanks, I think. The tunnels led to a larger open area of the park. Alex realized that without more obstacles, the hunters could catch them easily. They needed a distraction. Lyra, we need something big, something confusing, Alex whispered. Lyra's eyes glowed. I can make multiple copies of myself, but it requires energy. Alex nodded. Do it. We'll see who's real. Lyra raised her hands, and suddenly dozens of shimmering, semi-transparent Lyra duplicates appeared, running in all directions. The hunters paused, unsure which one to target. Alex took the opportunity to lead the real Lyra toward a small grove of trees. The hunters' sensors buzzed and beeped. Sparks flew from their devices as they tried to distinguish the real Lyra from the illusions. Alex whispered, "Wow, that actually worked." Lyra tilted her head. "It works because you directed me. Your human mind is effective." Alex laughed nervously. "Effective? I'm just hoping we don't get captured." The hunters adapted quickly, but Alex had another idea. They grabbed a small pile of leaves and tossed them into the air. Lyra's energy amplified the leaves, and they swirled around in a dense, spinning whirlwind. The hunters struggled to see their advanced technology flickering under the interference. Alex grinned. "See. Humans make messes, but clever ones?" Lyra's violet eyes sparkled. "Yes, your species is unpredictable. That is your strength." For a few tense minutes, Alex and Lyra darted between trees and rocks, using clever tricks and Lyra's energy to stay ahead. The hunters were fast, but humans had one advantage: creativity. Alex realized something important. The hunters were expecting brute force, but humans, and now humans with alien allies, could think differently. After what felt like hours, they reached a small river. Alex skidded to a stop, breathing heavily. "We need to cross, but how?" Lyra's eyes glowed. "I can make a bridge of floating rocks, but you must lead the way." Alex hesitated. "Lead the way? I barely know how to walk without tripping." Lyra smiled faintly. "You survive. You always find a path." Taking a deep breath, Alex stepped onto the first floating rock. It shifted slightly under their weight, but stayed steady. Lyra's energy stabilized the others, creating a moving path across the river. Alex guided them carefully, and together they crossed safely. The hunters reached the riverbank moments later, but could not follow. Lyra's floating rocks formed a barrier, and her duplicates caused further confusion. Alex laughed out loud, exhaustion mixing with relief. "I can't believe we just did that." Lyra floated beside them, calm and graceful. "You did that. Humans are remarkable. You think creatively and act bravely. That is why we survived." Alex smiled, feeling a surge of pride. "Yeah, I guess humans aren't so bad. Maybe we're stronger than I thought." Lyra's glowing eyes softened. "You are more than you realize. That is the lesson of this season." Exhausted but triumphant, they made their way home. Alex carried a small backpack full of floating objects that Lyra had accidentally lifted along the way. Lyra floated beside them, calm now that the hunters were gone. Mom was waiting at the door, looking worried. "Alex, Lyra, are you okay? I saw some flashing lights in the park." Alex waved vaguely. Yeah, totally fine, just practicing for a school project." Lyra tilted her head. "Earth customs are fascinating. Your species is creative." Alex laughed. "Yeah, we are, at least when we're not being chased by alien hunters." Mom raised an eyebrow. "Alien hunters?" Alex groaned. "Long story," Lyra smiled faintly. "It is not simple, but we survived together." Alex felt a strange warmth in their chest. Despite the chaos, the danger, and the exhaustion, they realized something. Working with Lyra, humans, and aliens together, they were capable of amazing things. Cleverness, courage, and adaptability, these were traits humans had in abundance, and now Alex saw them in action like never before. The hunters were gone for now, but Alex knew this was only the beginning. Lyra's season was far from over, and with it came more challenges, surprises, and opportunities to prove that humans could hold their own in a universe full of alien wonders. And Alex, for the first time, felt ready. The next morning, Alex woke to an eerie glow coming from the living room. They rubbed their eyes and blinked. Lyra was sitting cross-legged on the floor, her silver hair shimmering like liquid light. The small objects that had once floated around her earlier in the week were now hovering in precise orbits around her, forming intricate patterns. Alex groaned. "Good morning, chaos." Lyra looked at them with her glowing violet eyes. "It is the peak of the season. My energy is at its strongest. I must complete the ritual today. There is no turning back." Alex sat down on the couch, rubbing their temples. "Great, so today my life officially becomes a sci-fi action movie, huh?" Lyra tilted her head. "Perhaps. But you have survived so far, you will continue," Alex sighed. "I don't even know how I've survived so far." Mom appeared in the kitchen, bringing a cup of tea. "You two are up early, everything okay?" Alex waved vaguely. "Yes, mostly okay. Just alien magic in the living room again." Mom frowned. "I don't understand half of what's happening, but Alex, please make sure she doesn't break the house." Alex groaned. "Mom, if she doesn't break it today, she'll probably break it tomorrow." Lyra floated to the window, looking out at the sky. Alex, we must go. The artifact awaits. Alex frowned. Artifact? Lyra's violet eyes shone. Yes, the ritual requires it. It is hidden nearby on Earth. Only we can retrieve it and complete the ritual safely. If we do not, the season may overwhelm me. Alex blinked. Overwhelm you like destroy the living room again? Lyra shook her head. Worse, my energy could escape, uncontrolled, dangerous for both humans and Xarian artifacts nearby. Alex swallowed nervously. All right, lead the way. Lyra guided Alex to the edge of the city, to a small, abandoned warehouse on the outskirts. The building looked ordinary, old walls, broken windows, and a creaking roof, but Alex could sense the strange energy humming in the air. This is it? Alex asked, glancing around. It just looks old and dusty. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter. Appearances are deceiving. Inside lies the artifact, and puzzles only those clever enough may pass. Alex frowned. Puzzles. I didn't sign up for a puzzle-solving adventure. Lyra tilted her head. You are clever. You will help. Taking a deep breath, Alex followed Lyra inside. The warehouse was dark, lit only by small glowing symbols that hovered in the air. As they stepped further in, the floor shifted slightly beneath them, forming a moving path across an empty pit. Step carefully, Lyra warned. The floor tests intelligence. Alex raised an eyebrow. Tests intelligence? How does a floor do that? Lyra smiled faintly. It adapts to those who walk on it. Only those who think creatively may cross safely. Alex took a cautious step. The tiles shifted, forming new paths. With each step, Alex realized that the floor responded to logic, strategy, and clever thinking. They ducked, jumped, and balanced, following Lyra's subtle guidance. You are doing well, Lyra said. Humans adapt fast, Alex muttered. I feel like a video game hero, except the stakes are real. Once across the shifting floor, they entered a chamber filled with floating platforms. At the center, a glowing crystal pulsed softly. Alex could feel its energy. It vibrated with power like the heartbeat of another world. That's it, Lyra said softly. The artifact. Alex approached carefully. And we just grab it, Lyra shook her head. No, the artifact is protected by a puzzle of energy. Only a combination of human logic and Xarian energy may unlock it. Alex frowned. Great, so I do the thinking, you do the glowing. Lyra tilted her head. Yes, together we succeed. They examined the floating platforms. Each platform had symbols, earth letters, numbers, and strange alien shapes. Some glowed brighter when stepped on, others dimmed. Alex furrowed their brow. Okay, if this is a puzzle, it looks like a combination lock. The symbols must match the sequence. Lyra extended her hands. Energy flowed from her fingertips, lighting some symbols and dimming others. Alex watched carefully. Wait, I think it's a pattern. Earth patterns plus alien logic. Lyra nodded. Correct, step in sequence, but quickly energy fades. Alex held their breath and began stepping carefully. They followed a rhythm guided by Lyra's glowing gestures. Sparks of light danced around them, casting shadows across the chamber. Every step was tense. A wrong move might reset the puzzle, or worse, trigger a defensive energy wave. Lyra's violet eyes glowed intensely. Almost there. Yes, now. Alex took the final step. The crystal hovered higher, pulsing brightly. A low hum filled the chamber, and a gentle warmth spread through their bodies. They had unlocked it. Alex exhaled. We did it. We actually did it. Lyra smiled faintly. Yes, humans are clever. You are remarkable. Alex blushed. Thanks, I think. But their relief was short-lived. The warehouse floor trembled. Outside, the alien hunters from before had found them. They had tracked Lyra's energy to the warehouse and were now trying to force entry. Alex's eyes widened. Hunters again. Lyra's violet eyes glowed fiercely. Yes, they will not stop. We must act. Alex looked at the crystal. Can it help us? Lyra nodded. Yes, but only if we channel it together. Your human focus, my energy. Alex swallowed. All right, let's do this. They joined hands. Alex focused on strategy, timing, and balance. Lyra focused on energy, light, and power. Slowly, the crystal responded, glowing brighter and forming a protective shield around them. The hunters tried to force the doors open, but the energy shield repelled them. Sparks flew and strange energy waves bounced off the walls. Alex felt the power hum through their body. This is incredible, Alex shouted. I can feel it. Lyra's voice was calm but firm. Focus, Alex. Together we are stronger. For several tense minutes, they held the shield, repelling the hunters' attempts. Outside, the air shimmered and the hunters' machines malfunctioned. Alex realized that human creativity combined with alien energy was unstoppable. You see, Lyra said softly, humans are not weak. You think adapt, survive. That is why we endure. Alex smiled, feeling proud. Yeah, I guess humans are stronger than they think. Finally, the hunters retreated. The shield around the warehouse remained, glowing softly as the danger passed. Alex and Lyra released the crystal and collapsed onto the floor, exhausted but exhilarated. You were amazing, Lyra said. Your human cleverness saved us. Alex laughed softly, panting. I think teamwork counts too. Humans plus aliens equals unstoppable. Lyra tilted her head, glowing faintly. Yes, together we are strong, and the ritual can now be completed safely. They carefully placed the crystal on a pedestal in the center of the chamber. Lyra's energy flowed into it, stabilizing her own power and preventing uncontrolled bursts. Light filled the room, dancing across walls and reflecting in Alex's eyes. Alex watched in awe. It's beautiful, Lyra smiled. Yes, and humans are part of it. Your strength, your cleverness, your courage all contributed. You are remarkable. Alex felt a warmth spread in their chest. Despite the chaos, the danger, and the exhaustion, they realized something important. Humans were clever, brave, and adaptable. They could face challenges no one expected and come out stronger. Lyra's ritual completed, her energy stabilized. The objects floating around her gently returned to their places. The glowing patterns faded, leaving a calm, peaceful room. Alex sighed, leaning against a wall. I think I need a long nap, Lyra laughed softly. Yes, rest, you have earned it. As they left the warehouse and returned home, Alex realized that their relationship with Lyra had changed. They were no longer just step-siblings. They were partners in adventure, each relying on the other's strengths. Mom was waiting at the door, looking relieved. I heard about the hunters. Are you both okay? Alex nodded. Yeah, thanks to teamwork. Humans and aliens together unbeatable. Lyra smiled faintly. Yes, together we survive, together we thrive. Alex laughed. Survive and thrive, I like the sound of that. As night fell, Alex looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, the universe seemed bigger and more mysterious than ever. And now, they knew that humans, clever, brave, adaptable humans, had a place in it. And with Lyra by their side, anything was possible. The morning sun spilled across Alex's room, but they barely noticed. Their muscles ached, their brain felt fried, and their hair refused to behave after the past few days. But there was a quiet satisfaction in their chest. They had survived, against chaos, alien hunters, and a very energetic alien stepsister. Lyra sat cross-legged on the floor, humming softly. The shimmer of her silver hair was softer now, almost peaceful. Alex blinked. Morning, calm. Lyra tilted her head, her violet eyes glowing faintly. Yes, calm, the ritual is ending. My energy is stabilizing. Humans have helped me more than I imagined. Alex yawned. Humans helping aliens sounds like a headline. Local teen saves alien stepsister from chaotic season. Lyra's faint laughter sounded like wind chimes. It is amusing. You survived extraordinary challenges. Alex rolled over, groaning. Extraordinary is one word for it. I'm still recovering from the floating sandwiches incident. Lyra tilted her head. You endured. That is admirable. Your species is stronger than I assumed. Alex smirked. Told you humans are clever. Maybe even unstoppable if we team up with aliens. Lyra's eyes sparkled. Yes, together we thrive. The day ahead was quieter, but the city still buzzed with subtle reminders of the past chaos. Small patches of glowing energy still lingered in the park. Alex and Lyra walked there, curious about the aftermath. Looks like the floating objects return to Earth eventually, Alex said, observing the soft sparkles fading from the playground equipment. Lyra nodded. Yes, energy balances itself. But humans have witnessed Xyrian power firsthand. That may change perceptions. Alex laughed. Perceptions? Oh, definitely. Nobody will believe me if I try to explain it. Lyra's violet eyes twinkled. Perhaps some things are better, mysterious. Humans enjoy imagination. Alex smiled, realizing that Lyra's energy didn't just create chaos. It left beauty behind. Floating patterns of light, shimmering shapes in puddles, and glowing symbols etched briefly into the ground. The city had unknowingly been part of a cosmic display. That afternoon, Alex decided to test how Lyra was feeling now that the ritual was ending. Lyra, so are you normal again? Alex asked, cautiously. Lyra considered for a moment. Normal by Xyrian standards, I feel stable. My energy is controlled, but I remember the peak. It was overwhelming. Your presence helped me survive it. Alex blinked. Me, really? I just ran around, dodged floating benches, and tried not to get eaten by alien hunters. Lyra tilted her head, smiling softly. You think small, but humans adapt. You strategize. You endure. That is remarkable. Without you, I would not have completed the ritual safely. Alex felt a surge of pride. Well, I guess humans do have hidden superpowers after all. Cleverness, courage, surviving crazy situations. I'm starting to like my species again. Lyra floated a little closer. And I like humans more than I expected, especially you, Alex. You are brave, clever, and adaptable. Alex felt their face heat up. Thanks, I mean you weren't easy to deal with either. Lyra tilted her head. True, I tested you. The season made me difficult, but you endured. That counts for much. That evening, as the sky darkened with twilight, Mom came home from work. She looked around, half expecting another disaster. But the living room was calm. The furniture sat normally, the cat lay on the couch, and Lyra's silver hair shimmered softly without causing any floating objects. Alex looked at Mom and shrugged. Don't worry, we survived. Mom raised an eyebrow. Again? Lyra floated gracefully over and bowed slightly. Yes, humans are resilient, Alex especially, Mom laughed. Well, Alex, it looks like you've earned a medal or maybe just a very long nap. Alex collapsed onto the couch. A nap sounds perfect, but first, maybe dinner. I'm starving. Lyra tilted her head. I observe human meals, but I do not require them. Still, I will accompany you. Alex smiled faintly. Glad to have some company. Don't float the food this time, okay? Lyra laughed softly. I will try. Later that night, Alex lay in bed thinking about the past week. It had been chaotic, exhausting, and terrifying at times, but it had also been amazing. They had faced alien hunters, solved puzzles, survived floating chaos, and helped Lyra complete her most important ritual. More than that, they had discovered something important about themselves. Humans were clever, resilient, and brave. Even in the face of strange, unpredictable situations, they could adapt and survive. Lyra floated beside the bed, her violet eyes glowing softly. Alex, you exceeded expectations. Humans are more capable than I imagined. Alex yawned. Thanks, and you aren't so bad yourself. I guess stepsisters from outer space aren't the worst things in the world. Lyra's laughter was soft, musical, and comforting. I agree. You are a good partner. Together we survive. Alex smiled in the darkness. Together we survive and maybe even thrive. The next morning, the energy that had defined Lyra's season was gone. She moved like a normal human, well, as normal as a Zyrian could be, but the room felt calm and safe. Alex realized that while the chaos was over, the bond between them had grown stronger. Lyra floated over to the window, gazing at the morning sky. The season is complete. I am grateful, Alex, you were indispensable. Alex shrugged. I didn't think humans had a place in intergalactic chaos. Turns out we do. Lyra smiled softly. Yes, humans adapt, you endure, you think. That is why you are remarkable. Alex felt a small smile tug at their lips. Yeah, humans are pretty good at this. Maybe better than we think. As days turned into weeks, life slowly returned to normal. Well, as normal as it could be with an alien stepsister living in the house. Lyra learned more about Earth customs, and Alex learned more about Zarian culture. They laughed together, bickered occasionally, and discovered that despite their differences, they made an excellent team. One evening, as they watched the stars twinkle above the city, Alex said, You know, I think this was the best adventure I've ever had, and it wasn't even a video game. Lyra's violet eyes sparkled. Yes, reality is fascinating, especially with human allies. You have my respect, Alex, and perhaps something more. Alex laughed softly. Respect is fine, I'll take that. Maybe I'll even try to learn some of your tricks, but slowly. Lyra tilted her head. Slowly is wise, but your species surprises me. Clever, brave, adaptable. Humans may one day explore the stars and thrive. Alex smiled faintly. Yeah, I think we might, especially if we keep practicing teamwork. They laughed together, watching the night sky. For the first time in a long time, Alex felt calm. Lyra had taught them that humans were capable of far more than they realized, and together, humans and aliens could face anything. The universe was vast, unpredictable, and sometimes chaotic. But Alex knew that as long as they had cleverness, courage, and a glowing stepsister from Zyrian, there was nothing they couldn't handle. And for the first time, Alex didn't just survive. They thrived.